Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome to Quest for Vape. This is Daryl Shergin, and I am back with another live show. I've been doing this for about a year. This is a coil building workshop. It's specifically intended for newer vapors, people who are beginning at building, and you know what, some advanced people who just want to tune in and maybe watch some new stuff they haven't seen before. But most of what I try to do is basic stuff to show folks how easy it is to build your own RDAs, and especially with all the new products on the market, the rebuildable tank atomizers, I feel it's necessary to show people how to build those these days. So I'm joined here with Zach from Vaping Moderation Channel, and maybe a couple other people might jump in here along the way. But if not, we're going to have a Geekvape day today. That's what today's episode is about. Good morning, Zach. How you doing?
Morning, Daryl. Thank you for having me on the show today. Let's see, this morning is slow. I was finally getting some stuff mailed out that I'm way overdue for, but I am basically vaping just on this K-Fun 5 clone with some Yam I Am. This stuff is really good from Detroit Rock Candy. I'm just loving this shit. And in the K-Fun 5, it just vapes so slow. Like, a little tank of liquid lasts you all day long in a K-Fun. So really liking that. And then I got that on top of the Dicode Extreme. It's like a 2 ohm coil in here. So this thing, you have to have something that can do high voltage, and this thing does it.
That's nice. Very nice. I tried that Yam I Am when we were in Vegas, and sweet potato yam is not my thing, but it was very interesting. That was like sweet potatoes and marshmallows, right? Just like you have on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and it's got that sweet flavor. It's not too sweet, but yeah, like I'm not gonna call it an all-day vape for me, because if I vaped it all day, I would get that like sweet tongue. By the end of the day, I'd be dying for salty shit and savory stuff. So, but it is something that's in my rotation pretty much all day. Besides that, I'm just vaping on my desktop mod with the Crown 2 on there. Thank you, Daryl, because that's where my Crown stuff all comes from. Daryl, he's so nice that pretty much whenever he gets Crown stuff, if he finds out his friends don't have it, he'll just send it right along.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, UL always sends me a few extras to give away, and I always love to give them away. And we'll talk about that Crown 2 in a little bit. I do want to at least spend a couple of minutes talking about that, but all right, is that done with your vape buffet? That's all you're vaping on?
I actually did one more thing. I got the Point Blank mod clone. I held the real Point Blank up in Detroit when who was it there?
Brian.
Yeah, TVC Brian over there just dropped that thing and busted it. So I spent half a day fixing it and held it in my hand, and I can tell you, it looks a lot like it. It functions like it. It has the lock. It has the the sliding ready to be busted. But this part is metal. And I don't think it was on the real Point Blank. I'm pretty sure it was some type of acrylic plastic or some type of hard plastic there. And then the trigger kind of feels a little loose. It doesn't feel as, I guess, high quality as the real one. But it does do the job. And on top of that, I got the Goon with the little brass Trinity tip on there.
Nice. Oh, shit. Just in time.
Yo, yo, yo!
What was that again?
Yo, yo, yo!
Okay, everybody, this is Scott Zegans who just jumped in. Scott is a local guy from Long Island, if you couldn't tell. And he does say yo a lot, so if that bothers you, too bad.
Too bad!
Scott is a local vapor. It's funny, he and I actually knew each other from before vaping, but then got reacquainted recently when we discovered, holy shit, you're out there and you vape and you're on Long Island. Scott, say hello, introduce yourself to everybody, tell people where they can find you, and what are you vaping on?
What's up, everybody? I am Scott Zegans. I admin over 50 groups on Facebook, including Vape Nation, Vaporized Nomads, Vape Spot, Team Coffee Vapes. And I am rocking the Boss 3000 right now with the goon on top. And I am vaping Dead Rabbit's Pispachio.
Very nice. Very nice. What kind of build you got in that goon?
That I don't know.
Okay.
I don't build.
You don't build. Well, that's why you're on this. This is a coil building workshop, so you can learn.
I got some, no, I do know what I have. I have some Twisted Claptons in there. Omina .53.
Scott's got access to some very, very skilled and talented builders here on Long Island locally, so.
Oh, yeah.
But it's always funny. The day your coils go and you can't find one of them, I guess you're shit out of luck. So
I kind of am.
Yeah, that's okay.
Well,
you can.
I can do a basic build. I just can't do a base build like I'm used to.
Gotcha. Oh, all right. Well, what we're going to be talking about today is Geekvape. This is Culture Clash a little because we got Zach over there down south in Louisiana, but he's from the Northeast.
Yeah, I'm originally from Massachusetts, so I yo a lot too. I also park in Harvard Yard, so yeah. That's even a little more East Coast than you guys are.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to have to pull some of that out. And then we got straight up in your face Scott Zegans, good buddy of mine. Thanks for jumping on, guys. I appreciate it. Today we're going to talk about Geekvape, but before we do that, let me introduce what I'm vaping on today. I also have a Vaporized Nomads Boss 3000 DNA 200, and that was sent to me by Adam Miller from Vaporized Nomads, and it was Scott that introduced us. This is an awesome mod. It's an 1800 milliamp hour LiPo battery, 3-cell, 11.1 volts. This thing is great. I vape on this all day long at 100 watts, and it's still at 40% at the end of the day. I can't drain the battery on this in a single day. On top of that, I got the Mason Gemini, the Mason 24 with the Velocity style deck, the 2-post deck. It's awesome.
Nice.
I've been loving this since last week. Just saw Yosh up at Vapor Slam in Syracuse, New York. He was there releasing that. And I'm also vaping on this very classy, very sexy. So I go from high tech DNA 200 to look at how sexy this is. This is the TVL copper. Look at that coating. Look at that finish. It's like some kind of sparkly, like you would find on a.
That looks like a pebble-coated Cerakote.
Maybe it's smooth. It's smooth, but it's got like sparklies in it, and it's got these cool panther eyes on there. And serial number 094.
So it's sparkly and it has some cat eyes on it. Is that a chick vape? That looks like a chick vape to me.
That is.
Well, if you had a vehicle that had those cat eyes and that sparkly paint, would you think that a man is in the driver's seat?
I don't have a vehicle like that, but I do have an awesome mod that's handsome, and you are jealous.
I'm just jealous. I'm just jealous.
I know that. I could hear the envy. The green was dripping from your words. And I also got this nice drip tip. Look at this thing. This is stabilized wood and, I don't know, metal, and it just completes the whole package. I forget the name of these guys. I'm so mad I forgot the name of them. They were awesome. They were up in Syracuse. They had stabilized wood mods, and then they had these drip tips that just, they really pop.
That's nice.
So I'm vaping on that.
All right, now I'm going to get up.
Why is that?
Now you made me want to go grab my Kennedy.
Okay, go ahead.
I have to get a Ruby.
Get your Ruby, then I'll be jealous. And as far as juices go, I'm vaping on Dem Fangs. This is a creamy blueberry milkshake, Dem Fangs. Awesome stuff. And also Hyper Plume's Clutch. This is a raspberry something, maybe raspberry lemonade, although it's not too much on the lemonade. It's really good, very nice summertime vape. That's from Hyper Plumes. That's all I got.
Waffle Man here too, by the way.
You got Waffle Man?
Yeah.
Nice, Scott. Nice. All right, all right. Let's see it. You got your Ruby. You got your Kennedy Ruby mod. Very nice.
Just putting a fresh battery in.
I'm guessing that's a Half Moon Mods drip.
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
I have probably 15 different Half Moon tips.
Cool.
I love them.
Cool. So you guys ready to?
Great tips.
Awesome.
Yeah, I got the now. Ruby's got fused Claptons in it.
Very nice. Very nice. I just got back from Syracuse, New York over the weekend. Went to Vapor Slam up there. That was my first Vapor Slam event, and it was a lot of fun. I saw a lot of vendors that I knew, a lot of new vendors that I never met. Blew my vape budget on that and a couple of other things, bunch of juice. It was fun, and then I left shortly before I heard there was almost a brawl. People get excited when there's free shit being thrown out, and TVL, I believe, was giving away probably one of their awesome mods, and pushing and jockeying for position probably led to some heated tempers. But I wasn't there to see that, and there was no fist fight, but I heard maybe close to it. What can I say? People get really excited over free vape stuff. Why don't you take that excitement and put it, channel it into some advocacy and donation, okay, guys? Speaking of free stuff, I'm going to be doing 2 giveaways on this live show over the next hour. I'm going to be giving away a Geekvape Tsunami 24, okay? And I'm also giving away a Geekvape Griffin 25. This is the standard one that does not have the top airflow. And
I have both of those.
you have good taste in equipment.
And both are great.
What's that?
Both of those are quality products. That Tsunami is amazing. I use it almost every day.
Man, that's awesome. I've been loving that, and we're going to talk about some new Geekvape products that they just sent me. That's what we're going to be doing today. I'm also giving away a Joytech Ego all-in-one, Ego IO, and that's going to go along with basically the first giveaway. You get to pick which one of these you want, and you're also going to get the Ego IO. So find a smoker and give away. This is my all-time favorite starter kit for smokers because it gives you that mouth to lung. It gives you airflow options so you can get an actual good lung hit, and the flavor's awesome. It's easy to use, under $30 retail. I think I paid $15 for this up at Vapor Slam from May Village Supply. I picked up a bunch of these, and I'll be giving them away to smokers as I come across them. But let's jump right into anything new going on in your lives. Anything? We'll take a minute to just chat. Zach, what do you got going on new? Any drama? Any mods blow up?
You know what I did see, and this is a discussion that me and the tech guys are going to have, because I'm not sure on the validity of it, but I saw somebody started a Indiegogo campaign for a supercapacitor powered mod, right? So instead of batteries, like you need a battery or a USB to charge up the capacitors, but then it uses the capacitors to discharge the amount of amperage necessary. And honestly, capacitors can do the job. But I don't know, like I'd have to sit down and do all the math. And I know there's other people that understand capacitor theory better than I do, so I want to talk to them first and make sure I don't fly off into the wrong direction. But it seems legit. I don't know if it's completely insane or insanely legit. Like, I don't know.
Well, when you find out about all of that stuff, let us know, because I didn't understand any of that, but that's cool. All right, a higher powered way of making a mod.
Yeah, instead of using batteries to hold the charge, they just charge up capacitors, and the capacitor then handles it. And that, like, I suppose could work.
Yeah, but didn't they need like uranium-213 or something like that to charge that? And then in the later movies, they also used garbage.
Yeah,
and Back to the Future.
Yeah, and if you don't have the what's that device there? You need to have
flux
capacitor.
If you don't have the flux capacitor, the motherfucker doesn't work at all.
I actually have the Flux 3000,
Yeah.
which uses vegetable glycerin to power it and no battery. So, all right, that's interesting. Keep us posted on that. Got 42 viewers in chat, which is cool. Let me say hello to everybody in chat real quick, and then we'll get into the Geekvape stuff. There's some... Oh, there's a lot of cool stuff just came out from Geekvape, and I want to go over that. Hey, everybody there in chat, what's going on? Good to see everybody. Thank you for joining in. I can't go through everybody by name, but I see Paul Labworks down in Australia, Shane Smith, Michaela's there, Peter Wells, Gary James, Ben Zinn, and everybody else. Thank you very much for joining us. Gary James, good to see you guys. Thanks a lot for watching. There will be a giveaway, and I'm going to do this at around the 25-minute mark and then the 50-minute mark. And then, so stay tuned. And everybody watching, could you please give this a thumbs up? That's that little like button down below, the thumbs up. I'd appreciate if you could do that. In fact, I'm going to give my own show a thumbs up because I like myself. I'm very.
I'll probably do the same. I suppose since you have me on as a guest, I'll go ahead and give this a like, but only because you have me on as a guest.
That would be nice. Okay. I'm gonna take a moment to share this to my Facebook so that anybody who follows me on Facebook can see that I'm live. And if anybody out there feels like doing the same thing, I'd appreciate that as well.
I can go straight out to Twitter, but I think I can share it on Facebook too.
There's an option there if you hit that little arrow button on the YouTube.
No,
Anyway.
I have to go in and actually like share it legit to my page because I don't think this thing lets me select a page. It it wants to post to my main profile, and I don't really put vape stuff on there.
Gotcha. I
There's a way to do that. You have to go up on the top and change it from your profile to groups. And you can post something in the exact group.
Yeah, I think something's happening in this particular browser, though. Like I have, I'm using Opera, and it acts weird with some of this shit. It doesn't give me options that normally I had with like Google Chrome. I gave up Google Chrome because I found out Google was manipulating search results during this election, and that really pisses me off. So
I heard about that. That pisses me off. Facebook's no better. Later on, I'll tell you about some phony baloney bullshit that Facebook does.
Well, I wasn't expecting Facebook to be neutral. Like, Facebook is sort of a private entity, but Google has always acted as if they were giving us the results we're all searching for. And it turns out that that's bullshit, and that really betrays my trust. Personally, I've been using Google since, God, back in AOL days, a long time ago.
A lot of things going on this year have me feeling very betrayed and disenfranchised with politics, with everything. But let's move on and keep this light and fun. Okay, so you guys want to hear about some Geekvape stuff?
Yeah!
So I've got the Eagle. Let me get down. Is that coming in okay, Zach, or is that out of focus?
No, that's good.
Let me flip over to you. I was just posting this up.
That's good? All right, let me open this up. Now, they sent me that. They sent me the Griffin 25 Mini, and they also sent me this new Tsunami 24 with a glass window. And then check this out. They also sent me these interesting coils they do now.
Nice.
That are all like, I don't think they're handmade, but they somehow figured out a way to make like frame staple Claptons and alien Claptons. Is that in focus?
Yep.
And then they have all of these different coil options for the Eagle. You see these? Each one of these tubes has 2 decks. So when you buy the Eagle, instead of buying like stock coils, you get a stock RDA built deck, pre-built, pre-wicked.
Nice.
All kinds of different, like, I may need to pull this off.
There you go.
See that? That's got a flat ribbon wire Clapton. And
That's awesome.
And then this one is just like a regular, I don't know, maybe a fused Clapton. And then there's other choices in here. Like I thought they just sent me a bunch of the same shit, but they're all different sizes. They're all different. Like, yeah, here you got like a staggered, staggered. I don't like staggered. I feel they spit. They're too angry. But there's like a fused staggered Clapton, just about everything. It's pretty fucking cool. These different options. Here's like a frame staple. Isn't that interesting?
That's really cool.
Are they hoping that like some people are gonna just choose to keep buying those, or
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like $8 or $10 for a tube of 2 of these. So instead of, and this is going to last you. This is not like buying a stock coil for like, for example, a regular sub-ohm tank. This is going to last you. You just, and it even comes with a little square of cotton.
so you can re-wick.
You re-wick. That's right. Something like this, if you take care of it, will last you a couple of months. So you get 2
And then
of
when
these,
the coils go, you get like a new RDA.
you get a whole new deck.
Yeah,
That's nice.
So you just keep, this is the disposable part, and this is the part you keep. And it comes with 2 of these. So I think that's brilliant. That's the first time
I
I've
think
ever
that's
seen
brilliant.
yeah. Yeah,
The deck-
spare RBA deck. That's the first time I've ever seen a spare RBA deck included off the bat.
Like, why not? So they figured out a way to have an economy of scale to provide you this instead of stock coil. This is the stock coil. It's an RBA deck.
You know what's great about that?
What's that?
The fact that I don't build, and the fact that I don't need to build with that.
That's exactly right. So this one's telling me 40 to 70 watts, 0.3 ohms, Canthal A1, and then it's HBCS10, whatever that means. So yeah, exactly. This is like RDA meets RTA, and yet with factory precision.
Beast coils.
Beast coils. Okay, we'll go with that. I think there's some type of ceramic deck. I'm going to pull. Let me get some tweezers and we'll pull the cotton out of this one here. And this Eagle looks very similar to the Griffin RDA. We're going to open that up and take a close-up look. So all of a sudden, like, do you really even need to build anymore? Probably not. All right, let me find one that I wasn't planning on using today. I'll take this staggered fused because I've never been a fan of those. It's got some kind of ceramic deck. That's the only thing I'm a little like, let's see. Let's see what kind of ceramic they used and if it holds up or if it's like chalky. Yeah, look at that. That's some kind of ceramic material. So possibly the only thing that could be a turn off. I'm not saying it is, but look at this. So you got 4 juice wicking holes, and then you just wick it by covering these 2. There's airflow right underneath the coil, so it's single coil mode, and you got 2 wicking holes that you cover, just like an aromomizer or any of those like bottom fed. Interesting. All right, and well, you know what? When I get to using this thing, then I'll know. All right, the ceramic at least is not brittle. It's not like scraping and chipping like some of these products I've gotten over the last year.
But it also doesn't need to last forever.
That's right. That's right. It's just the deck that's ceramic. Okay. Well, you know what? I haven't vaped on it yet, so maybe I'll get one of these going today live on air. And let me see what they say. They have this nice letter they sent out. Eagle sub-ohm tank with some HBC, whatever that means. The main features are rewickable, allows the user to replace the exterior cotton instead. Yeah, let me go up here. Instead of the coil head. The coil is cleanable. Heat the coil to clean after getting rid of the cotton. All right. Well, let's take a look at the tank itself. And guys, yell at me if I'm out of focus, so I get in focus, because I can't see with my screen's now at an angle away from me. What are your thoughts so far on this?
I love it.
Interesting.
I want
right?
one.
Innovative. That's an innovation. Now, it takes a company with manufacturing in the quantity and numbers that Geekvape's got to be able to come up with something like this that's affordable. I mean, who can imagine? Could you imagine an RBA deck like when Kanger first came out with their sub tank that had an RBA deck? If you wanted to buy a replacement for that, It's like 11, 12 bucks, right? Just for this piece. These come 2 in a package for whatever these cost.
Do those decks apply to the you had an RDA there too, right?
What do you mean?
They had a Tsunami with a glass dome.
Yeah, with the glass view hole. Do those coils work for that?
Would they fit in here?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I mean, that's an RDA, so you're asking if like the deck for that fits? No, it's definitely not like I wouldn't be able to put the Tsunami top cap on here. Is that what you're asking?
Well, yeah, I was just wondering what does the deck look like in the RDA. I've seen RDAs where you can.
It looks like the Tsunami.
Replace the deck. I wasn't sure.
It's the Tsunami deck.
This right here with the glass window.
Yeah, pull it up.
What's great about that tank is you can use different coils. You can get a different vape off a different coil.
Oh, okay.
Just switch the bottom.
Right, exactly.
I got you.
Now the Tsunami, these are not compatible, like reverse compatible or anything like that with the Tsunami. This is the same as the Tsunami 24. It just has a glass window.
It's supposed to be the best of the Kennedy 24 and the best of the Velocity. That's what they claim on that deck is all about. It's the best of both worlds.
It's a nice combination of the two, that's for sure. The first Tsunami was really fucking nice. All right, so let's take a look at this Eagle. Comes with, this is sort of like a first look unboxing all in one shot. I didn't want to wait on this because it's very new and it's exciting. When I took a look at this, it was very, oh wow, they did something innovative. This is not just another company's variation of something done already. You get a lot of spare parts, an extra glass sleeve. All right. And
these are those color rings to customize it?
Yeah, if you like that. So this came with some very nice fused Claptons with some pretty fine outer wrap. And then this is like, I think maybe nichrome, because it's, and they looks like they've already been fired too. So that was one thing I was wondering. You're wicking it for me, thank you very much, but now I'm going to need to fire it to make sure there's no hot spots. They are spaced, so we're not too worried about hot spots, but I always would want to go check that myself. It looks like they might have been fired already by hand. Somebody in China in the factory already tested that. And this is a, actually 316L stainless. Is that in focus?
Yep.
So it's nice. So we got stainless steel Claptons along with this thing. And this looks very much like the Griffin 25. Except it's got a wider base here to accept the deck. So today we're going to be vaping on some stainless steel. I like that. It just screws right in there. Nice. And let's see how they wicked it. Okay, so they just, boom, right straight down like you would wick any old RDA, just covering up the juice wicking slots. Is that in focus there? So what's interesting is juice comes in from the bottom and just kind of floods that whole chamber, but the only way it gets to the top is by hitting that cotton. Interesting. I have a feeling when I re-wick this my way with a little bit looser cotton, not as packed as densely, I might even be able to get this up some higher wattage. But this says 40 to 70 watts. I think that's probably a modest range. If you wicked it a little more loosely with your cotton less dense, you can probably get more wattage out of it. But it's single coil though, too. It's very interesting. All right, should we go up on top and fill the sucker and vape it?
Yeah. I want to see how that baby hits.
This has top fill, and it also has top airflow, and it's also got that chimney tube within a tube. Airflow from the top comes through that outer, you see that dark ring? That's like an outer sleeve around the inner chimney. So that's where the top airflow comes down to the chamber. It's pretty cool. And for this occasion, I will be using creamy blueberry milkshake, Dem Fangs. You're familiar with that one, right? No? Scott?
Nope.
All right. Let's take a look. So, get this juiced up. The airflow slot right below the coil, nice and wide, kind of reminds me of the Heracles version 2 RTA. That big wide airflow slot. This is going to be fun to play around with. I didn't even wash this or clean it or anything, but it's pretty damn clean from the factory as far as I can tell. There's no machine oil. The threading's nice and smooth. I've come to trust Geekvape products because when I get them, they're always really super clean.
I think it'd be kind of cool trying all those different coils.
Yeah.
Just to see what you like.
Exactly.
Get a totally different vape off the same exact RTA.
Exactly. Now you can have like expert vaping without having to rely on somebody who knows how to. Really, I mean, how many people in your local area know how to make a Clapton coil like that? And then to buy them online, yeah, you can buy them. You'll spend $10-15 for a set of coil. For one single coil like that, it's probably $5 to $10. Just, well, maybe not that much. I mean,
yeah, I would say in the $10 to $12 range for a pair.
For a pair, and that's not even talking about going with like Twisted Messes or M-Turk or Squid Dude. Then you're getting into the $20 to $30 to $40 range for like the higher end stuff. But these are good enough for, and they're somewhat disposable. So you reuse them. I don't know. Hey Zach, how many times have you think you've like rewicked and cleaned a set of Claptons before you kiss them goodbye?
For me, it's always juice dependent. Because I've had juices where if a Clapton gets really clogged up to the point you would need to like brush it to get it cleaned out, then it's done for me. You know, if it's just clean juice and it gets a little crusty and you can burn it off and stuff, then shoot, a month, 2 months, you know, off a Clapton coil, re-clean it, re-wick it. But yeah, if you throw the wrong juice in there, just like Claptons are worse than regular coils when it comes to like getting gunked up if you have gunky juice in there.
Good point. Very good point. A lot of surface area. And depending on the juice, I tend to... all right, so while I'm filling this tank, let me just mention something for folks who are watching. I don't pulse the coils to clean them at very high wattage. I do it at like maybe 20, 30 watts at the most. I want to heat them up. I don't want to get them glowing so much. And I'll just cycle that. So I'll pulse them till they're warm and like a dull red, and then I'll dip them in water, douse them, and go back. I'd rather do that 4 or 5 times than just sitting them there, dry firing them, making them glow and make the room light up. I feel like that deteriorates the coils worse, and they go bad faster.
I do the same exact method you do. Low wattage, and I dip them in water 3-4 times until it looks like snow. I do it like in a white mug, and it looks like snow. So when it stops, stuff stops coming off my coils, I heat it one more time to dry it up, then I let it sit for a little bit, and then re-wick it.
Most of my coils go through the well, the wire I use to make the coils goes through the sonic cleanser, and that usually cleans everything off the wire. So I'm not really like too concerned with dry firing it. My dry fire isn't to clean it much as it is to make sure that it's heating evenly, and I'll roll on it at that.
Cool. Ordinarily, if I was doing a build or installing Claptons, I would pulse and fire these to make sure they were firing right. So I'm trusting Geekvape right now. Hey, they send this out. They're saying this is good to go right out of the gates. This is one of the coil decks that came right out of this package, and you got to make sure you close those juice wicking holes while you're top filling it. But it's not leaking. So let's see how it vapes. I got it at 30 watts. I'm going to vape it up to about 60, 70 watts. Then I'm going to do a giveaway. Then I'm going to come back and vape it a little more. So I'll break in a little bit, Just get some power in those coils for the first time. You notice I primed the coil before. All right, you know what, at 30 watts, not bad. There's a little cotton flavor. Tastes pretty clean.
Mr. Cobra Fire is asking, is it leaking yet? Already, you just started vaping it, but he wants to know if it's leaking yet.
It is not leaking. Oh, trust me, if it leaks, we're going to see it here live. I have no ability to edit.
Well, the end of his question with the is it leaking yet?
Yet, he says.
It kind of implies that we're on a countdown right now.
Why, did somebody have a problem with that? I mean, one thing I'll say is you're getting this, okay, great, and you're trusting that they wicked it right in the factory, and hopefully they did, but I still inspected it, and I was poking around making sure the cotton was all tucked, not down the airflow. I plucked it a little bit to make sure it was not like jammed up. It felt snug, but no, I can't see why this would leak. It's covering up the juice, the two juice wicking holes from underneath, which look like that. The only place for this to leak is going to be through there, right? Or the one on the other side of the coil, there, right? It's the only place it could leak, and it's not.
My battery is going to die, Daryl.
All right, buddy. Thanks for jumping on, Scott. Good to see you.
Peace
Scott,
out, everybody. I'll see you soon.
pretty good flavor, 35 watt. That's it. At 35 watts, look at the cloud. That's a nice dense, flavorful vape.
What's it ohm up to?
0.44. 0.44. And that's 35 watts.
Did you say that was stainless steel too?
Yeah.
Nice.
Stainless steel. Yeah, let me put it in stainless. No, I'm not going to fuck around with temp control live.
Stainless on Clapton coils, I've been steering away from that as well because stainless is such a dense metal, it holds heat really, really well. And when you have a bunch of stainless steel together, like in a Clapton coil, it's very slow to cool down. You can take a couple of hits after you're done heating it up.
True. It's still vaping. Let's test that theory. Hold on. Let me go to 50 watt. By the way, it's broken in already, and I'm getting like perfect, awesome flavor. Let's go to 50 watts, then do a giveaway. Okay? 50 right there. All right, so.
I've been thinking about doing stainless steel inners with nichrome on the outer. That way it maybe cools down a little quicker.
That would work. And I'm going to take a hit, then I'm going to take my finger off the power button and see how many more hits I can get. Ready?
Take a nice one.
Interesting. Still going. Interesting. Very interesting.
It's a juice consumer, and I'm wicked chintzy. Even though I have a shit ton of juice here, and too much to actually vape, I'm still stingy when it comes to I don't want to be wasting that. I don't care if it's only a couple of fucking mils after a 30 mil tank. I don't care. I don't want to waste it.
Oh, I don't mind. I use up juice at a fast, rapid pace. I like it. I used to consume cigarettes. Now I consume vape e-liquid. I don't mind. All right, so let's do a giveaway. You guys who wants to win some free shit? Now, if you win this giveaway, you're going to have to prove several things. Your legal age in your state. By the way, if you're out of the country, it's $35 for shipping. You may not want this. If you're in the country, you have to pay $8 for shipping. Sorry, Daryl's I'm not a non-for-profit, and I'm not paying for your shipping. You're winning something free. You're going to have to prove you're over the legal age. So if you can't provide some ID, then no dice. Then I'll pick a different winner. And you're going to also have to prove to me that you have donated to some advocacy. I'm not going to tell you which advocacy, but you better have donated some money. And I'm not going to tell you how much. I don't care. You win this giveaway, you show me you donated $1 to CASA, or $1 to Not Blowing Smoke, or $1 to Larry Faircloth, or Vaping Militia, or any number of legit advocacy. But if you won something on my channel and you didn't donate, I'm going to pick somebody else who gives a shit about vaping. And I'm sorry. And listen, somebody's going to come along with a sob story about how broke they are. That's fine. But don't get into the giveaway if you haven't given. This may not be the appropriate time in your life. And you know, these things too shall pass. And I'll pray for you to more prosperity. Don't get on my channel and comment with your sob story about how broke you are. Okay? I promise you, I have sympathy, but this is not the forum and the venue for that. I'll hold back my problems and won't share them with you if you hold back your problems and don't share them with me. Fair enough?
Yeah,
right.
I should also mention, too, that one of the funny things that's going down, it's not really that funny, but one of the funny things that's going to go down as a result of the FDA and their little ruling, right? Those same people that go into grocery stores to buy cigarettes, they send underage kids into grocery stores. They have a whole team set up to make sure they catch people who are selling to underage or given to underage or any of that shit. And while for the last year it's been sort of a voluntary thing where reviewers are making sure they get ID, I can almost guarantee that in 6 months, some reviewer is going to get somebody from one of those task force trying to get something off of them so that they can bust them, and they will fine your ass big time. They'll shut you down. They got power. It's not, they're not a powerless organization.
Yeah, I don't feel like putting up with that. So and it's not been a problem that I've noticed, but you know, there have been a few times when somebody won something and I asked for proof and then they like disappeared and I never heard from them again. Then I just pick a different winner. That's all. All right, so let's get into this. The first giveaway is going to be for winner's choice. You tell me, and this is right now for people live watching, the Tsunami 24 RDA or the Griffin 25. And this winner is also going to get this Ego all-in-one. And it's going to be a very easy question to answer. What expo did I just come back from this past weekend?
What expo? Are we looking for name and location or just name?
Close enough.
Location is sort of in the name, kind of.
Oh. Vapor Slam. Isadel got it. Vapor Slam. I happened to be in Syracuse, New York, but that's okay. It was Vapor Slam and Isadel got it. Congratulations, Isadel. Email me it's questforvape@gmail.com. A lot of people getting the right answer. Oh, Isadel says, pass it on to Shane Smith. I'm okay with that. That's very cool. Isadel passes that along to Shane Smith. It's very nice of you, Isadel. Wow, Shane, you lucky son of a gun. Shane's won stuff for me in the past.
Isadel has a fast trigger finger and a fast internet connection, and he pays close attention. So he's got pretty much a leg up on everybody else in the chat. That was awful nice of you, brother. But he can easily win most of the questions just because he pays so close attention.
All right, cool. Well, congratulations, Shane Smith. Shane Smith is one of those folks out there who's very active and always on shows. So I'm happy you won it. I'm happy to whoever wins these. All right, so Shane, you need to tell me which of these you want. Do you want the Tsunami 24 or the Griffin 25? Just let me know and then email me to make sure I already checked you. You're over 21, and just double check back with me on the shipping address. All right, let's move on. But Shane, let me know which one you want, which one of those two, because the next one I offer, I want to make sure
is the right one for sure.
Yeah. He says Tsunami. Okay, so Tsunami is off the table. Congratulations. That is Shane Smith won that. And then let me just write that down. Shane Smith, Tsunami. All right, fantastic. Let's go take a look at some other stuff sent to me by Geekvape. By the way, what's a funny thing about Geekvape, it took the longest time for them to warm up to me to where they would send me stuff, and I had to kick them in the shins a little bit to get them to do that. But that's okay. They have good products. I was like, how dare you not send stuff for Quest for Vapes channel? And people were always asking me about those products. Finally, you know what? Now I don't. It's nice. This package showed up. I didn't even know it was coming. And I guess they like the way I do reviews. Well, thank you very much, Geekvape. All right. The next stuff we're going to look at from Geekvape is, all right, well, this is just the Griffin 25 Mini, so it's shorter than the regular one. This is the full-size Griffin 25, and then the Mini is just a shorter version of that. Is that clear, or is that too much glare?
Pretty good.
There you go. It's just a shorter version. Everybody seems to be going the way of big tank, with then a mini version comes out several months later once they see the popularity of the big guy. So if you don't need, I think this is like a, what is the juice capacity on this sucker? I don't know. What does it say? 3 milliliter capacity on the mini, and the big one is, I think it was 6. Oh, well, I don't know, but 3 milliliter capacity on the mini. So that's nice. I'm not going to open that one up, but let's go take a look at this Tsunami 24 with the cool new window. All right. Oh, never mind. I showed this before. All right, I'll show it once again. That's a good way to fuck up your nails. Like, here, let me show you. This one split off on me because I was trying to do exactly that and pull that off, that top cap. So I guess it's the same exact thing. It just has this gimmicky little window, as if you need, so now you can look in at your coil. What do you think about that, Zach? Necessary, unnecessary?
I actually don't like it because, yeah, when you first install the coil and maybe for the first 20 hits, that's going to look really cool. But some of the coils, let me see what my coil looks like right now. I intentionally don't look at my coils after a certain period of time because I don't want to see how nasty they look. But I guess that's not too bad. But like, you know how coils get, especially if you have you know, the juice that gunks stuff up, you don't even want to look at that coil. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they get dark and festery looking.
Yeah.
It's almost embarrassing.
You don't want that sticking out the window on your shit.
Good. Let's keep the skeletons in the closet.
That's right.
I hear you. All right. So, I mean, it's nice. Okay, they wanted to make a variation on a product that's already selling well, so they did that. Yeah, it's got that inner sleeve on the inside. Was it necessary? No. It's kind of gimmicky, but
yeah, but I am appreciative of the fact that it reduces the chamber, because that's one of the things I was going to say is I'm really looking at things for how reduced the chamber is now to get the best flavor out of it, and that glass sort of reduces the chamber as a result.
Oh yeah, okay, it does that. It does reduce that chamber. To me, it's just one more thing that can break. I really like the Griffin 25 for the fact that it was just a nice metal. That's what I love about the Kennedy. Just a nice metal top cap. And here's your options. $120 for the Kennedy, or what is this, like 35, 40 bucks retail for this thing? You got Kennedy airflow, you got and then you got velocity style deck, which is nice. I mean, I do own several Kennedys. I also have a 22 millimeter size, which I don't use anymore. I may give that away. Not today. Relax. All right, so that's that. That's cute. Okay, a little variation. Maybe you like the looks of that better than you like the looks of that. So spruces it up for some people. Overall, I'm just really, really tickled pink about this this Eagle tank. So I'm going to get that one back. Let's vape on that a little bit more and talk about this Eagle. What did I do with him? Here it is. Really, really interesting innovation. I'm going to be curious, and I'm going to have a follow-up video. I am going to do a full review video on this in a few days. I want to see how I feel about that ceramic deck, if I notice anything. There's been times like you'd had a product the Balrog. No, they sent me the Simba tank, and that fucking thing, just the quality of ceramic that was used in it was so awful. I was getting like chips of ceramic in my mouth while I vaped. So God only knows what went down into my lungs.
Try not to think about it, brother. Do you got one of those? Do you got one of those vaping moderation tanks from? Did you hear about that from, what was it, Adam?
No, vape you what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, Adam came out with a tank, which they totally stole my logo for.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So now I need to try and hassle them to get one and also to pay the bill on my.
Pay you for licensing on your logo.
I'm just saying, there is a licensing agreement. I've written it up already. They just need to sign it if they're going to keep using my shit. Well, give me a little royalty or something. That's fine too. I don't care.
Yeah, maybe they should just do like what Wismac did with the theorem. Just write designed by.
Yeah. I mean, at least stick a link to my YouTube channel in the motherfucker or something. If you're gonna steal my logo, give me something.
So you're not being so possessive that you want to tell them stop doing it or pay you. You just want a little credit.
Yeah, just send something my way. Come on. Even give me one of the tanks. I should at least know what the tank is like and be able to give some opinion on the tank that's using my own logo. Come on.
By the way, my logo is available for licensing and or publicity purposes. If you are a manufacturer and I catch you using this, I will expect Quest for Vape to go right below that. But other than that, I'm perfectly happy with people using my brand. That's funny. I saw that on the show. Which show were you on where you guys were talking about that?
Oh, was that? I'm not sure if that
not
was
another vape. You were on a couple recently.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the Derailed or if there was one. Maybe we might have been talking about that on ST show on Thursday.
Okay. The flavor on this is incredible. It's awesome. I'm not noticing the usual telltale signs of like scratchiness in my throat, like as if I was at a sports event screaming all night. That's what I usually start noticing right after I vape with poor quality of ceramic. By the way, ceramic's nothing new for like vaporizing stuff. They just used it in that other thing that you're a little more familiar with, doing the wax and the dry herb stuff. They use ceramic a lot.
That's been the ceramic ovens for that have been around for a really long time, and to no detriment to anybody, at least not a measurable detriment. So.
Well, we don't know because the people using it are sort of like potheads. So how much?
Yeah, they're certainly not gonna go down to the doctor and be like, I've been vaping on this pot vaporizer for the last 6 months, and now I'm getting scratchy throat. Can you help me with that, doc? Doc's gonna be like, yeah, let me just make this phone call real quick.
One time years ago when I was young and stupid, more than half my lifetime ago, when I did smoke weed with friends, we had the bright idea. We made a huge bong from the mast of a J-boat, like a little sailboat. And we didn't realize the whole inside of that was fiberglass fiber, like the raw fiber. And it was 6 feet long. We called it the remote because you could vape on it. You could smoke the bong and hit the TV. That's back when TVs, you didn't have a remote control always. So we'd be able to change the channel with the bong from sitting on the couch. And we all talked like this for a few days. We couldn't figure out why we were all fucked up. Then somebody was like, what's that thing made of? Oh, not the best idea we ever had.
Yeah. No, we went vegan when I was a kid. We actually hollowed out apples and pears and stuff like that. So we were very health conscious when I was a kid.
Is that right? Hey, we got 62 viewers. That's nice. Thank you everybody for watching. Vaping this now, the flavor on this, the juice that I'm vaping has a very light flavor profile. They use less flavoring and less sweetener than most juices, and it's really bringing out everything in this. The nice blueberry, the nice creamy milkshake. Vaping fine at 60 watts. Let me go up to 70, and then I'll do another giveaway.
But before he does, people smash that like button, man. Show some love.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed.
No leak still? No leak. Can you give us a sideways report on that, please?
No leaks. Yeah, you could see right clear through the airflow.
Yeah, nothing coming through there yet.
See my face on the other side through that airflow. Let me line up my eyeball.
There we are.
I see you. All right. No leaking. I don't see how it would leak. I really feel like if the way I like to wick RTAs is I like to take the cotton fiber and spread it out like, here, I'll demonstrate.
I bet I know how I can make that leak for you.
How's that?
All you have to do to make that leak, and I've experienced this with all of the RTAs that have the juice channels in the bottom going up. If you remove the top cap without, maybe even if you do shut off the juice flow control, when you put it back down, the pressure pushes up through those holes and will actually push the wick away from the holes, and then you'll have, you know, basically free flow.
True, true. So, there's a couple of tricks to that. If you do have a tank that typically when you tighten that down, like the Crown was notorious for those last couple of turns of threading, pushing pressure into the cylinder like a piston. One solution to that is when you get 1 or 2 turns on, get it on there threaded, and then turn it upside down and quickly thread the rest of the way. That's one solution. Then it can't push. But the other solution was get it one turn of threading on there, and then maybe open up, crack that juice flow a little bit, just allow a little bit of pressure bleed up, and then close it quick. It's probably going to leak out if you don't close the juice flow while you're filling the top fill. The Heracles is like that. All right, so this is what I do with my cotton. If I had to re-wick this, I would use cotton bacon or Texas Tough or Kendo, and I'd pull that cotton out really, really thin and wispy and just roll it back up. And then, you know, I'd use more than that, but I would leave it big, loose, and fluffy. Think Don King's hair. Think Bob Ross afro, light and fluffy and big and puffy. All right, 80s hair. Take another vape and then do a giveaway. Are those good analogies?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much you're talking to the younger crowd out here that just started, like Bob Ross has been off TV since.
Hey, if you don't know who Bob Ross is, you don't know your American history. He's an icon. And I don't know. And Don King is like, nobody knows who he is anymore either, because what's boxing? MMA. It's all about MMA. And Dana White that's the face of hair in fighting these days. But there used to be a day when Don King and his hair was the norm. Look at what else Geekvape has. Check these coils out.
He still says that Bob Ross has a Twitch channel. I would have to say.
Does he really?
I don't think that. I think he's messing with us.
I think he's dead. I don't know. I don't know if Bob Ross is still alive. Check out these different types of coils. Are these in focus at all?
Not really. You can see them on the package, but you can't really see what.
They are just.
Oh, there you go.
You could tell they're not handmade because they're a little rough, but they look like just bigger, chunkier versions of the finely made. Like these are aliens, but you could tell they're made on a machine. I'll tell you one thing: they get fucking hot as hell. Look at the amount of metal. That's a lot of metal. I used that in the Tsunami 24, and 2 things: they're so wide that when you tighten the side screws, it twists, and it kind of like it gets a weird bend, and they're so wide that bend it actually was awkward to deal with. So these would be better in the Goon or something with maybe like the Indestructible that had the screws down from the top to clamp it flat instead of taking something flat and then as you tighten it, it twists it sideways like that. It was awkward. But interesting stuff that Geekvape is coming out with. They recognize the market that people enjoy using Claptons, and they went that direction. So who's ready to win the Griffin 25? Let's go take a look in chat. We still have 60 viewers. Hey, everybody. This is the next giveaway, the Griffin 25. This is the one with no top airflow. I believe you could get a kit for the Geekvape Griffin 25 that gives you that top airflow option if you want it. And the top airflow kind of looks like that right up on top of the top fill. Is it necessary? I don't feel it's really necessary, but you may like that. But this doesn't come with it. And again, you're going to have to prove that you're of legal age to have vaping gear or buy vaping gear in your state. And then you're going to have to prove to me that you have donated to advocacy. Shane Smith, I already know he has. So whoever wins this, be prepared. Actually, Shane, send me over proof that you donated to some advocacy. All right, buddy? And if you haven't yet, go get it done. Hey, Zach.
What is up?
What is a good you want to ask a question for this giveaway?
Oh, sure. Let's see.
But I have right of first refusal on the question if it's too
Sure.
technical.
Sure. Let's see. Something not too technical, but something that was brought up during this show. Let's see.
Or something that would be commonly known in vaping that's relevant. Magic Josh says I'm broke. Dick. Thanks, man. That was funny.
Let's see. I don't know. Trying to think of something that revolves around Geekvape. That way.
Something about Geekvape. I don't know. We don't know much about them. I have a question, but it's more about who jumps on and answers it first. You got it? You got anything? Anything, Zach?
No, every question that comes to mind, I start thinking maybe is too esoteric for people to answer.
Yeah. All right. I have a question. This should be an easy one for anybody watching this show. If you vape at all, and if you don't take an educated guess, you'll probably get the answer right. Where in the world, what country is Geekvape located in? That was pretty easy, right?
Well, let's see if anybody gets it.
Drew P831 got it, China.
All right.
That is correct. And even more specifically, Shenzhen. How do you pronounce Shenzhen?
I'm pretty sure it's Shenzhen.
There's an even more Chinesey way of saying it. I'm not meaning that in an insulting way, like Shenzhen or something like that. Labwork Vapes did say Shenzhen, but he didn't spell it right. No. The first guy got it right. That Drew
P.
That guy. Drew P831. Email me, questforvape@gmail.com. And you have won a Griffin 25. Congratulations. This is actually brand new, unopened. Because the one, I did a review on this, and the guy that won it preferred, I offered if you wanted the big one or the small one, and the small one is the one that I actually used in the review. He didn't care, so I cleaned it out and sent it to him. So you got that brand new, unopened. Let me write that down. Drew P31. Those are some pretty cool giveaways today, right?
Hell yeah. Geekvape had some pretty damn nice products. It was was it at in what was it, Vapor Slam, where their booth was like nothing for sale?
No, that was they weren't at Vapor Slam. That was the Chicago Expo, right? Where Mark went, and he was at their booth over there with them, and that was B2B, and they had nothing for sale. But I heard in Miami that they were pretty well set up and stocked, and they had a lot of stuff, and a nice show, like booth with demo units and stuff like that. I think some of these companies just don't know what to expect when they get here and they get to an expo. They have no way of knowing how inundated they'll be with consumers and vape shop owners and interested vapors who want to touch, feel, pick up, ask questions, talk to you, vape on stuff if they can. So if you're a hardware manufacturer, you know, show up, have a nice booth, have people who can represent you. If you don't speak very good English, have somebody there who can speak on your behalf, who's familiar with your products, have good lighting, and have product for sale. People want, hey, listen, you're just going to show up there and let them look at it? They have money in their pocket. They have credit cards. They want a deal. They want to buy a bunch of these. If they own a shop, they're ready to put an order in right there. So know your pricing. And then you can actually pay the cost of being at the show if you bring product on hand, cover your expense. But if you're just standing there with like demo models, yeah, here, look at it. Or better yet, I'll show you a nice glossy. Here, you could look at the picture. Well, then why'd you show up at the event? You wasted your time. And there's plenty of reviewers that are up and coming that would be happy to represent you at your booth, assuming they like your product. And that's a helpful thing. And some of them are very reasonably priced for that function. Okay. That's
yeah, especially if they're in our crew of people, since we're always trying to get to those things with the rest of us else.
We're working class reviewers, okay? We're up and coming, and we're happy to be just getting out there at a show and put in an honest weekend's worth of work. You know, we tend to rent mini mansions and drink a little bit on our own private time when we're not at the show, and we'll have fun and goof off on our own. Probably you'll be highlighted in some videos from a bunch of people. It's a good thing. That's a new thing. That's like that's sort of an evolution of like the YouTuber side of things. As vaping grows, YouTubing for vaping grows.
So the same thing that happened in the gaming market though as well. It started out with people just getting together to play, and then all of a sudden you got teams forming, then you got sponsorships, and they're required to be out at these competitions and conventions, and yeah, same kind of progression happened there.
Yep. Cool stuff. All right, let's just say hello to everybody in chat again, see what's going on, if anything interesting. Anybody got any more comments? Hey, we got 60 people watching and 50 thumbs up likes. I like those numbers. That's good. Awesome. I appreciate that, everybody. I think that's about it. Let's go ahead and wrap up. If anybody else in chat has anything else they'd like to bring up, mention, share, ask, anything like that.
Cobra Fire is asking, was Vapor Slam a letdown in your opinion?
Okay. No, I make the most out of every event. If I'm going there, I'm going to get the most out of it. Oh, hi, Rhonda. Rhonda McGee says hello. Hey, sweetheart. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to walk a fine line here. It could have been better, but you could say that about every Vape Expo. It could have been busier, but you could say that about every Vape Expo. VPX Las Vegas was almost too big and too busy, and you got lost in an ocean, but that was part of that experience. So Vapor Slam wasn't very busy. That's okay. You know what that means? Look for the silver lining. Look for the glass half full. That means if it's not that busy, you have more quality time to get to know vendors better. You're not as crazy rushed, jostled. You want to go over and try some juice. There's not 5 people pushing in on you to get to the same sample. You can actually have a conversation. So I like to think of that little analogy of the guy who's walking on the road and he sees a villager walking away out of the village, and he asks, how's the village up ahead? And the guy goes, oh, the people there, it's a terrible village. The people there are all mean and rude and nasty. And then he keeps walking towards the village, and he bumps into another villager, and he says, how's the village up ahead? And the guy goes, oh, it's wonderful. The people are very warm and friendly and inviting and nice. He met 2 different people that both had a different perspective. So what I'll say is this. I go to these vape expos to meet vendors. I go there to record, to put some interesting content on my channel. I want to let vapors know what expos are like, and they're not all, no two expos are the same. Vapor Slam in Charlotte was different than Vapor Slam in Syracuse. But you're going to get out of it what you want. Now, some vendors were very disappointed in the turnout because they didn't get to recoup their investment. That sucks, and I can allow that point. That's disappointing. They were expecting it to be a whole lot more busy, and but some vendors did phenomenally well. I don't know how the event was promoted. I don't know if they did any radio or what type of promotion they did to let people know they were going to be there. I don't get into that. I let event promoters know that I'm planning on attending your event. If you could have a media pass for me available. Look, I could pay to get into an event. That's not the point. I want a media pass so people, every booth I go to doesn't think, is this guy a vape shop? Do I sell him? No, if it says media, then you know why I'm recording you. And it's not a mystery, and I don't have to go through 5-10 minutes. No, I have a YouTube channel. How many subscribers do I have? Look, let's look me up and see if it saves me a lot of hassle. So if you're an event promoter, have media passes available. And if YouTubers are coming to your event, welcome them. Come over, say hello, be nice to them. Like the guy who was running the event didn't even like give us the time of day. It was like, whatever, you know, like he didn't give a shit. And that's something that, like, you know, oh, I'm sorry you don't know me, but I don't know you either. Maybe we get to know each other in time, but it's free to be nice and friendly. You're running an event. I'm coming to your event. You know, could you be a little bit friendly? Are you so cool that you can't come over and have like a conversation? I went over and shook the guy's hand and chatted with him. He was just like, and he wasn't a kid. He's a grown man. He didn't know how to have a conversation. All right, so you don't know me yet, but like we learned this in customer service when I worked in banks. You don't know who's walking in based on their clothing and their looks, how much money they have to bring in deposits. So be nice to everybody because that person may be a millionaire, or that person may be your best friend's grandmother. And so if you're rude and dismissive, then your friend's going to say, why were you rude to my grandmother came into your bank? Don't judge a book by its cover. Be nice to everybody. Yeah, I'm lecturing the guy. But other than that, it was a fun event. I had a wonderful time. I had a wonderful time hanging out with Mike Vapes, Phenom, Gimme That. I still don't know the guy's first name. What's his name? Hazy came down from Canada. Raul was there. Addy Tooney was there. It was awesome. There was a whole crew of us. Daily Vape TV, Nick was there. That cute little girl came up. She's big on Facebook. What's her name? Amy, Vaping Amy Jeanette. She's adorable. She was there. There was a lot of really cool people there. I had a lot of fun. I saw a lot of vendors that I knew. I get the most out of every event I go to. This was a family weekend for me. We stayed with my wife's old roommate from college, an hour away in Ithaca. We had a wonderful time spending time with them. My wife and kids did that during the day, and I went to the Vape Expo. So was it a fun event? Yeah, it was fun for me because I made it fun. I wasn't a vendor there presenting. You know, one more thing about events and promoters of events. You know, if you got YouTubers with Instagram is not the only outlet for social media. Okay, I find that YouTubers, if you're not among the big five, then you get largely dismissed and ignored. Well, maybe next year I'll have those numbers. You don't know, and I don't know. But how about a little bit of promotion? If we're promoting your event, could you put our logo on there? Maybe let some people know we're going to be there. There were probably 20, 30 people came over and wanted to take a picture and hang out and chat with me and record a little video that knew me from my channel. I mean, that's not hundreds of thousands, but you know, people recognized me. And there were people that were looking forward to meeting me. Why? Because they knew I was going to be there because I put it out on Instagram. I put it out on Facebook. So likewise, could you do the same thing if you're an event promoter? Be happy you got people in social media that are at your event. Just because you're buddies with a couple of people who are already famous, well, you know what? Some other people are coming up in the world. You don't know. So don't judge books by their cover. And also appreciate people are evolving and growing, as I would appreciate that you are evolving and growing. And then I'll shut up. Thank you for watching. That's my limited rant. No, I could say more on the subject, but I'm not going to. I told you I was going to walk a fine line. That's as fine as it gets. Buddy, I love you. Mooch one. I dig that you put on an event. That's great. Next time we meet, could we be a little more friendly with each other? That would be nice. And you know, it's a two-way street, buddy.
What was Mooch at the event? Is that what you said?
No, not Mooch, the battery guy. The guy, Mooch one on Instagram is the event promoter. He owns Vapor Slam. Gotcha. Just could be a little nicer. Forget about me, Mike Vapes. You have a guy with almost 70,000 subscribers coming to your event. He emails you like weeks in advance. And see, Mike didn't understand that when the guy said, no, don't worry about it, buddy. You don't need a pass from me because it's free to get into the event. Yeah, but that did not include the B2B.
Right.
So we all paid $50 to get in. I have $50, but I have had smaller shows that don't, they have 5 passes waiting for me, and I don't even need 5 passes.
Right. Yeah. And there's no reason if we're going in there to film and promote the event that, like, we're not B2B. It's not like we're not going to make some deal of a lifetime there and supply our shop with new Geekvape products. Like, we're not there to benefit from the B2B. We're there to benefit the B2B so that other people get a showcase on, regardless of how small our channel is. I mean, even if you had like only 2,000 viewers or only 3,000 viewers or only 1,000 viewers, still a commercial that's guaranteed to have 1,000 impressions. I mean, that's still pretty decent. I mean, it doesn't no sweat off your back to hand out a pass, to let people in for that. I don't know if
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. But I've been to a lot of events. It's I love going to them. There's no event that I need to be at. I don't have any business purpose to be there. I go to the B2B because it's less crowded and I can get some good B-roll footage and walk around when there's not like people in the way, so I can get the booth and I can get what's going on in there. And then if I come back to them later on in that weekend and I'm hanging out, I get them when they're more crowded. It's a good opportunity for me to move in and amongst what's going on there and move quickly. But I don't have to be there for a B2B event.
Yeah, I actually don't like being there on the non-B2B days because I feel awkward trying to talk to a distributor or if they have customers around, because even they're distracted because they want to make sure they're making every sale. And then I feel like you're not making a sale with me. I'm just here to talk to you. And because there's other customers you might make a sale with, I feel like I'm already intruding. On the B2B days, I'll catch your booth when nobody's there and we can have an honest conversation for a few minutes and get some video. But yeah, I'm kind of iffy on the days. On the days that there's other people there, I just like to film the sort of big picture of, oh, look at all these people here. Everybody's gathered around so-and-so's booth just from a third person perspective.
That's those times. And there was like a B2B section every day during the weekend from like 9 to noon each day was B2B. And then it opened up for general public. So you had a little bit of the more quiet, serious business conversations going on. And then when the general admission opened up, then that was when it became more festive and crowded and the buzz was going. That's when like it's fun to hang out over by the tables where people are accumulating for food and beverages and stuff. And that's when, and that's where I get a chance to really meet people, shoot some videos. I love to throw people in my vlogs, like people who come over and say hello and record them and throw a couple of folks in there. It's nice, it's nice. That's what I try to do with these events. I think I never really have an opportunity to explain this to promoters of events. I'm taking time away from my family. I do love my wife and my kids, and I enjoy spending time around them. And you know what? They enjoy spending time around me. So it's not just being at the event. It's the cost of everything and going there. And do I really need to be at this place? I don't need to be there, but I want to be there. So a little bit of courtesy, welcoming, inviting. Dude, when I went down to Miami, the guy who runs the World Vapor Expo down there was like, oh man, that's awesome. I think that's so great. You're taking a road trip down here. Here's a coupon code. Give that out to anybody you want for free passes. That was awesome.
The guy who ran Miami was also trying to get me over there. He was like, I emailed him and was like, hey, I might be able to show up at Miami. What's the deal with the press pass? He was like, here's my personal phone number. Call me as soon as you get there. Tell me you're out front. I'll make sure you get a pass. I'll make sure you're all taken. Like, he really took me seriously, despite the fact that I'm not a big YouTuber at all. Just he knew that any YouTuber is any press is good press. So bring it in.
Exactly. I was at like less than 300 subscribers when I did that road trip to Miami. I was not an impressive YouTube channel. Right. The only thing I had going on that was interesting was some safety rants and maybe the Crown video, the like UL Crown review. I had nothing major going on. Like, that I've done 400 videos since then. I was not on anybody's radar, and the guy was still fucking cool. That's awesome. So like, okay. And sometimes I feel like, Jesus Christ, I'm almost at 10,000 subscribers and you're being dismissive. How cool does somebody have to be for you to, but like the same person, I'll see them over there being very ingratiating to somebody else. And like, what's so cool about that? I don't know either of those people. What's so cool about them that I don't have? And it's that disparity. Like, I guess you only reserve your friendly side to the good people. When do I become good enough? All right, I'll shut up because I sound like a whiny little bitch, and I'm sorry. But to answer your question, how was the event? It was awesome. I have an awesome time at every event I go to. Came back with a bunch of really nice goodies that I spent a shitload of money there. That's another thing. I don't go to events for free stuff. You think this was free? This was not free. This costs good money. But I love my boys at TVL. It came out with a nice mod. I bought a lot of juice, and I'm not a guy that needs juice. If somebody recognized me, knew my channel, wanted me to do a review, wanted to push juice at me, okay, fine. But I'm not there to like have enough juice. I'm not there to get loaded down. It is a good opportunity to do that, but I had a great time at the event. Enough said. And it's always fun when we get together with Vaporium people. Oh, here was some cool stuff. We saw people walking around with Vaporium t-shirts.
Nice.
I got big boyed by Phenom. There was this couple, they were so nice, and they were like, hey, Phenom, we love you, what's up? And they were like all talking, and it was great, hugs. And then he's like, there was a little lull in the conversation. He goes, hey, do you know Daryl, Quest for Vape? And they were like, no, who's that? I love that. That was so awesome. I was like, that's so cool.
I bet he wouldn't stop laughing about that.
He was laughing. And when Phenom laughs, the world lights up and gets like brighter.
Yeah.
That was fun. I didn't get to hang out with those guys at night because I was hanging out with my family and stuff, but they had a good time. They went to Dinosaur Barbecue. There was a lot of great people there. There was a lot of great vendors there. Rig Mod was there. Mod Fuel was there. Bad Drip was there. Suicide Bunny Pip was there with her whole crew. Really? They don't sell juice at the show. They just give you the whole set. If you show up and say hi, they give you a bag with the full line of the Cloud Company and the Suicide Bunny line, and probably a t-shirt and stickers. Is so nice. Suicide Bunny's awesome. Pip is just a sweetheart. Do you know, and she'll never take credit for the stuff she does, there was a guy in Afghanistan in the army, active in the field in the military, asked me if I could help him out because he brought 1,000 milliliters of juice with him to when he got deployed. And when he got over there, a couple of guys quit smoking, started vaping. The guys were pooling their resources and mods to make sure that they were getting them in the hands of guys. And they divvied out juice and they were running out. And he goes, I don't know if there's anything you can do. Pip from Suicide Bunny sent 120s in every milligram nicotine strength in every flavor they make.
Damn. That's
huge boxes. And then Juice for Troops kicked in a bunch. Cutwood, Chris Tucker sent a bunch of stuff over there, but I personally know for a fact because like the dude like messaged me like, I can't thank you enough. This is unbelievable. And I think it came right before Christmas. They got these huge boxes from Suicide Bunny. That's how nice they are. All right. This has gone on for more than an hour. I'm sorry to hold you guys up. We still have 59 people watching. You guys are all awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in live. Zach, why don't we outro, have a vape, and then say goodbye to everybody. Let them get on with their day. Let me get that is on. What's up, brother? He got home. Okay. I'm glad, buddy. You got to email me, questforvape@gmail.com. He such a nice guy. He's like 9 feet tall, too. He left his cholesterol and blood pressure medication at home in Indiana. So he was like, I was worried about him on his drive home. I'm glad to hear he got home safe. What a nice guy. And if there's anybody I left out, sorry I left you out, but there was so many people that we met. All right. Zach, who are you? Where can people find you?
All right, guys. Well, thank you for having me on the show, Daryl. It's always fun to get on here with you and check out new coils and new tanks and stuff. You guys can find me at vapeinmoderation.com and Vape Moderation on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and all that good stuff. And then, I try to get on this show every Tuesday when it's going on, and Thursday for ST show, and then Friday and Sunday you can catch my more technically kind of geeky, maybe over-the-top shows.
Cool. Awesome. And I'm Daryl Shergan, Quest for Vape. You knew that because you're on my channel. It's always a pleasure to see you guys live and also in the replay. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Thank you, Geekvape, for sending me this product stuff that you loaded up a nice box from China so I could show my audience what cool stuff you make. Some more good videos coming up, some reviews. I'm going to start kicking it up into high gear again with videos now that school's out. The last couple of weeks were a little slow. My kids like to spend time with their daddy. All right, everybody, we're going to take a vape and say goodbye. Bye, everybody.